That's our tolerance. That's what.
25 million fucking inches or some shit. Because these rooms are unsquare as fuck, dude. It's crazy.
Well, this is when someone said to me, "Oh, you use a speed square to cut the rafters. If you do that and you cut all the rafters because you make one measurement, mate, in the end you're gonna be crying because you're gonna have to recut or pack
Oh, that
that
ain't
up."
gonna work. That don't even work. Sound like it would work.
I always cut them individually. Maybe
You
I cut
gotta.
go along and maybe them three fit, but it will be not square, 100%.
You can be cutting and cutting wood all day and throwing half the shit out.
Yeah, I've seen people do that where they've cut all the birds' mouths out. Yeah, just go, fuck. They're putting another bit of 2x1 underneath it to pack it up.
Yeah, beyond a certain point, it becomes theoretical. You really, unless you have the ability to actually perceive and see the measurement. You're talking about microns, dude.
Dude,
Like,
what's theoretical? Making a room square?
no, measurements that are beyond our ability.
Yeah, but making a room square is not theoretical though. Like you could do it.
No, I'm not, I understand that. I'm not saying it's
It's
theoretical. You
possible.
can,
They
but I'm
never do
saying
it, but it is possible.
the precision that to get it to like the infinite degree, which I don't even believe in infinity, but you can keep fractionalizing the measurement deeper and deeper, smaller and smaller and smaller.
How can you not believe in
What's not to
dealing with
believe
microns.
with infinity though?
We live in a finite
Like
universe.
as it relates to reality, like you could have like infinite space or infinite time.
Infinite numbers.
That's completely hypothetical.
It's not hypothetical. I can prove it.
I mean, yeah, we don't know, but it could be though.
You can't. There's no proving infinity, dude.
You can't prove it. I'm just saying it could be. Like
I can prove it mathematically for you.
Yeah, it's not proof. That's completely conceptual. It has no ontological grounding. That's why just because you can count numbers to infinity doesn't mean that reality is infinite.
No, I can programmatically prove it. It has to be there.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be reality.
What's got to be there?
You can always cut something in half.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can do that to the infinite because you don't know that.
Well, mathematically you can.
Yeah, I don't know if you can always cut something in half. Like there's going to be a thing where it gets so small you can't cut it in half anymore, bro.
And it doesn't work mathematically because that's why they developed the atom and then the Planck length.
Reality's finite, guys.
You don't know that, dude.
Yeah, you can.
That's like your opinion, man.
It's already infinite, which is why you can be.
You can always divide by 2.
Okay, what's a Planck length divided by 2?
I don't know.
Mathematically, you can always divide by 2. Yes. In reality, though, math is abstract. In reality, we don't know if you could keep chopping things in half.
Jeremy, think about it like this, right? If you could keep chopping things in half infinitely, how could you get to what you are right now? How could the body be formed?
I'm not saying you can. I'm arguing that you may not be able to chop things in half. I'm on both sides. It's no different than I don't know if you noticed.
If there's an infinite amount of time, right, regarding infinite regression, how could you get to the present moment? Just work it the other way around, right? Microscopically, if there was an infinite amount, right, that you could divide matter, how would you get like a body?
The single cell.
I don't know that there is. I don't know that there is a way to. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if you can cut something in half forever.
You could keep multiplying something by 2 and it doesn't even change. Look at you. You're like the same thing and your cells are constantly making more of them.
Like you may get to a point where you're cutting something in half to where it's like you may just not even possess the ability. It may be possible, but you don't. Right now, we don't. I don't know if we possess the ability to, but there may just be a point where it just can't be split in half anymore. Or like if you try to do an atom and it fucking explodes. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
does that count as cutting it in half? If you split an atom and it blows up, does that count as you cut it in half? Or I don't know.
Yeah, eventually you get to pure energy, right? So there is a necessary reference point in both directions, at the microscopic scale and into the past.
But Lion makes a good point about
reality's finite.
Lion makes a good point about the infinite amount of physical reactions in the past. If you have an infinite amount of physical reactions in the past, you can't get to present because you can't traverse the infinite amount of physical reactions. You know what I mean? You can't traverse it. You just be stuck there, dude.
All right, what are we arguing? What are we arguing right now for infinite time? Are we on infinite time or what are we?
I wasn't sure. It sounded like you were kind of, but
both.
Lion.
We're talking about microscopic.
We just one at a time. One at a time, bro. We can only do one at a time. We got to do one. You want to do the time one? I mean, I don't know. I wasn't arguing that you can cut things in half. Andrew was.
It applies to both concepts, though, regarding time and regarding, the microscopic scale. So, like, inwardly, you're saying that we could just divide infinitely inwardly. I say, no, you can't.
No.
And then same thing with time. You can't. Time isn't infinite. Where you have infinite amount of causing, because we wouldn't reach the present moment. It's a logical deduction. So, if there was an infinite amount of reactions, cause and effect relationships, infinitely going all the way back, you have infinite regression fallacy. You could never reach the present moment.
How long's God been alive? How long's God been around for?
Well, God is external to our reality.
To our reality, yes, but he's still beholden to. There's still a time where he's at.
No, he's eternal. He's not infinite. He's eternal.
Yeah, no, but there's still a time like he decides to do something, and then later he changes his mind. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like this guy's.
He has
he may be on his own time. He's not on our. I'm not saying he's on our time. It may be 1 million years for us is like a nanosecond for him or some shit, but he's on some kind of time.
Yeah, you're right. He's on sacred time.
You're not escaping time or logic.
But he's outside. He's outside of.
Bro.
You're right, but he's outside of our space-time continuum. Whatever you want to call it.
Bro, chill. What are you going to Battlestar Galactica?
That's a legit term.
What the fuck is a space-time continuum, dude?
That's the legit term that they use.
What does that mean, though? You went Star Trek on us.
This dimension that we exist in is made up of, time, and it has space. Not saying space-time, but it has those two dimensions on top of our reality that we exist in, that we traverse in. Whatever you want to call it. If it's a substratum, like the background medium, or if it's a fabric, like Einstein proposed, it is some type of encoded reality that we exist within. They call it the space-time continuum.
Is that from Back to the Future or Avengers Endgame?
We going gigawatts or how are we doing this?
Some say it's a simulation. Well, why do they say it's a simulation? Because it seems to have this. It has building blocks. It has a code.
Sim, dude. We got the double slit. Dude. The double slit experiment. See, when everyone starts getting scared when we say simulation, but it could be a simulation in the mind of God. Now what? Now are you scared? We're inside God. When they say God's everywhere, it's because we're in his fucking mind, dude.
Dude, yeah.
So this is what it says right here. I looked it up.
That's
it
deep,
says the space-time.
Write that down.
I'm happy you're here with me now.
It says the space-time continuum is a mathematical model combining 3D space and 1D time into a single inseparable 4D fabric, primarily developed by Albert Einstein and furthered by Hermann Minkowski. It shows that time is relative. Anyways, I'm going to stop right there.
We're not going to get the Minkowski space, but let me go back to the bigger thing, which is the firmament, the dome, the firmament. The ment is the mind in Germanic root, right?
Yo,
we are all the dream of the sleeping God.
Write
when
that
he
down
wakes,
too,
the
Snax.
existence ends.
That's you said you'd never get out the firmament, and it's like, yo, you'll never get out of his mind, because that's where we live, inside the mind of God, bro. That's crazy. That's deep.
Some good old Elder Scrolls lore.
Okay, in regards to what I was saying, just to clarify, I don't think, you can't, as far as we know, You can't just take a knife and continue cutting something in half infinitely. That's physical. But in the principle of infinity, it can only be proven mathematically on paper. Meaning, you can always divide by 2, you can always multiply times 2. And this has been proven in a lot of computer programs, which has been utilized.
That's not a proof.
Yeah, but Andrew, the things you can write down and the things that are real, those are two different things, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
yeah, it's not a proof, dude. Mathematical concepts aren't a proof of anything.
Well, then it has
well,
to be.
It's a proof of the concept.
Yeah, it's a proof
yeah. If it has no ontological grounding, it doesn't correspond to reality. How is that proof of anything?
Well, math. I'm not going to say like Red's right. Like math is reality. No, it's not. It's an aspect of understanding how to perceive something. That's all it is.
You could use math to try to say that reality is a heliocentric model. Does that mean that reality is a heliocentric model? No. Just because math shows it being possible.
Don't confuse
mean that
math for, like, like you're confusing a tool, right? A lot of what we have is math, right? Tools like a hammer, screwdriver, whatever. These are just like functions that we can do with a thing to make it. But the numbers themselves, that fabric of it is not arbitrary. Like
it absolutely is arbitrary. I'm trying to explain it to you. There's a difference between
it ain't
an ontological. Yeah, there's a difference between ontological grounding, right, and completely abstract conceptual concepts, right? And I'm being redundant because when you bring up like these infinite numbers and pi this to the 10th to the millionth degree, that's completely conceptual.
There's only one way that the Fibonacci series occurs.
Even when we talk about decimals, right? When we try to fractionalize things and break it down to decimals, that's all conceptual.
Yeah, but it's still things happen. Like Fibonacci will still happen in any base system. And my word holds true that infinity will fucking happen, because we just keep stacking things together. If I just keep like giving you apples, eventually you'll have infinity apples. Like, and I can prove that like in mathematics.
Yeah, we could debunk it with logical deduction.
I think the problem that you'll see.
No, because it's
the problem you guys are running into is like
reality has a beginning.
I feel like the problem you guys are running into is the fact that he'll never, like, in real life, have a basket of infinite. Like, even if, like, in real life, that's just. I think that's the conceptual problem that he's having on his end, though.
It's because he hasn't seen
but
it.
One thing, you will have to deal with irrational numbers, which are effectively infinite. So you got to chop them off somewhere.
Irrational numbers, are you referring to lower bound and upper bound numbers, like Graham's number as an example?
Yeah, or pi.
Or pi, which is utilized.
Or the square root of 2.
It's 1.41, I believe, is what the answer to that one is.
The square root of 2 is actually a proof for if a square is square or not.
Yeah.
If you take a square, right? If you take a square and you have all the lengths of the sides. What's up?
I said, what'd you call me? Never mind. It was. You said, and you.
Okay. Let me explain this, yo. Dude, anyway. I mean,
this goes back to first and second order measurements. The difference between a first and second order measurement is huge, bro. So first order measurements, right, correspond to reality. Right? We have the law of correspondence. Right? A lot of these mathematical concepts don't even correspond to reality. They only exist in the mind. So, for example, a measurement is a direct quantification of something that actually exists. This has a one-to-one relationship with an individual phenomena in the world. Example, this rod is 1 meter long. Here, the number refers to a concrete instance of being. It's a first-order statement about something that actually exists. In philosophy of science, this is considered empirical and ontologically grounded. Now, when we talk about averages, or even decimals for that matter, these are second-order abstractions. You know why that is? Because an average is not something that you can point to that exists. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't actually point to it. Can you point to infinity?
Infinity's not an average. That's a terrible example.
It's a sideways 8. And no, you cannot point to it, but I can ask a very generic question as to if I take 5, multiply times 2, and then times 2, and then times 2, is there any limitation as to how many times I can no longer do that?
Yeah, but bro, that's on paper. I could write a lot of shit on paper. That doesn't make it real.
Using it mathematically.
You could do that forever, yeah, but will you be able to do that forever is the thing. Will time keep going for infinity? That would be a good one, but you might be able to.
Well, there's another aspect of the math-based part of it, and I don't know if you guys know what Graham's number is. I think it's still currently the world record holder for the world's largest upper bound number, and it's not easy to explain, but I'll do my best for the moment.
I can beat it.
Oh yeah, unless you're just going to use infinity times infinity.
No, dude. I can beat it.
Okay, well, let me explain it first, and then... So Graham's number has been used in computer science for a bit, but it does have a limitation to it. So it's basically exponents on steroids, and on more steroids, and on more steroids. Just the easiest way I can explain it.
You're gonna dumb it down. You're gonna dumb fucking infinity down for me. Thanks.
Come on,
Is it on vitamins too? Is it on a workout regimen?
What happens?
Does it an all meat diet? What the fuck? Tell me more, Andrew.
My goodness. Graham's number, which they say if the universe is actually as big as they say it is, and every single one of the digits was the size of an atom, it would just fill up the entire universe. And then some.
I can fill up the whole universe at 8-point font.
Andrew,
right?
You're making it worse.
In fucking 10 digits, guy.
Okay, I'm just saying that it's a very, very large number that you can't write down.
Yeah, and the universe is expanding too. Dude, what are you talking about, bro?
Wow, I thought I was actually trying to educate people a little bit, but now getting attacked. I'll just go on mute.
No, we're trying to move away from concept. We're trying to move away from conceptual reality and
I like it. It doesn't
ground ourselves, right? That's the whole point. That's why I'm bringing this up, dude. And you're bringing it. Oh well, if the universe was this big.
I already fucking know. I have numbers that are too big for me to fucking look at on a piece of paper. Too big for me to print out. Too big for me to like lay down on the floor of any room in this house or on a football stadium. Okay, like I question like how big is this number like going to get by the time I want to look at the 10th digit place of Fibonacci, and it's going to be bigger than the fucking universe, according to Wolfram Alpha. So whatever the fuck at 8-point font. I mean, can I shrink it down to the size of an atom? Maybe I could look at it. But anyway, I mean, I already deal with this kind of shit. Infinity, I've been working on it since fucking 2000. So whatever.
Reality is finite, though. That's the problem.
What do you mean reality is finite? You mean like time is finite?
Well, then not just time. Reality itself is finite. Reality
is my time finite to fucking make a point too. Is that what it is?
Reality. Okay. Well, you asked me a question. I'm going to answer. Reality necessitates a beginning from both in the time dimension and also in matter itself. Right? You can't just infinitely divide matter to the infinite degree. Then you would have no bodies. You understand? You can. That's a logical deduction. It's both valid and sound.
My brain is not smooth enough to get that, dude. But thank you for trying.
You're only dealing in mathematical concepts like Einstein, dude. You could do that all day till you go mad, bro, and shit yourself in the lab.
No, dipshit. You just fucking have to listen to me.
Go ahead. I
don't care. I don't care. What am I gonna try to explain? Am I gonna now? I'm all.
You crank out numbers in the lab till you shit yourself.
I'm all cool.
Dude?
I'm ready to fucking explain high level mathematics to you. Is that? Are you fucking prepared to hear me? No.
Yeah, well, you're prepared to fucking you're
prepared to declare victory before you can fucking understand what the fuck I'm talking about, and that is.
Don't do what Andrew did and go off into conceptual land, dude. Stick into reality.
The reality is, I can do this, and pretty much nobody else works in this stuff. So. That's what I know, and I'm refuting you with my direct human experience, but that doesn't matter because yours trumps mine because you're just citing from whatever the fuck you like, and I like that.
This is how we catch Globers, dude, because they bring up averages. They think averages are measurements. They think they're theodolite.
Yeah, I don't bring up averages.
Observations
I'm
are
not making an
measurements.
average, motherfucker.
I apologize for trained them well. But you know, that's what's going to happen when they start to ground, is that they're going to figure out that abstractions aren't real things.
Yeah. Well,
only real
you're not the one.
insofar as they're
We told you this, and then you
existing in
just
the
now you're taking
imagination.
credit for it, bro. When we've been talking about grounding of logic
actually,
for over a year. Yes. So don't take credit for it.
And here's the thing. When the genius enters the arena and gives language to something that perhaps could have been someone's struggle to put into words, you know, it's very clear when they start to adopt the language, but it's even more clear when they attempt to replace the individual who has birthed a system. And they uniformly start to adopt this language. It's not going to be addressed before later when I get ostracized. Although it's my language, it's the words that I pointed to for close to 2 years now as a continuum. It's those words that I pointed to, the points that I made, they're getting more and more grounded. Talking about the grounding, grounded logic. Yes, you need to be grounded. Abstract versus concrete. Concrete not being just simply materialization or material. Concreteness meaning actually contact, directness. You know, it's
Can we get
not
some
just so
applause? Can we get
literal
some
as we thought it
W's
would be.
for Zynac, please? Applause, please.
Then,
Are we
but it's
doing
okay.
Wheel of Fortune?
It's okay. At least you know that I'm fully aware.
I'm glad you're in a
I
good
have
state
no
right
problem
now.
mentioning it.
We're gonna have a great day.
But there will come a time where, you know,
That was
your
profound.
conscience, knowing the very fact that I do exist, and you know, you never harbor any facts, you never provide a source to the material I've written. Although you use the words, use my definitions, you use them
Is
in
this
the way
perhaps
that
like?
I've written them.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
there will come a
Next
time
time we
where you're
cite
going to
you,
have such a huge conscience of having ripped off someone else's
Third
logic
paragraph.
and placated it as your own. You know that you yourself likely, you know, how does cancer etc. develop really? Is it
oh,
Psychotic.
because,
Lion,
you
he's
know,
calling you
you
out.
lie
Lion,
too
he
much?
called you cancer.
We
Holy
didn't
shit.
develop this at all, right? This is not something that I developed. Logic is something we discovered.
Exactly.
It's not dependent
You're
on the
going
human
to
mind.
move. You're
It's
going to
completely
move.
independent of the human mind. That's why we
That's the
have
whole point.
noumena. We have noumena and a priori concepts completely independent of the human mind.
This is the whole
They're
point.
where are they
You're going to
grounded in? Where are they
discredit the originator
grounded
by
in?
pointing to some abstract, unattainable source, and then you're going to pretend to talk about abstract and concreteness, where you don't want to have the abstract, but you want concreteness. But then underneath the system that you speak of, that's just entirely abstract. So you're actually trying to imposture the
This
framework that
guy.
I've built in order
I'll
to
explain
save your
myself.
own
We didn't build
religious
anything,
worldview.
dude. You're a weirdo, dude.
Because
Anyways,
that's how you save
hold
your
on, bro.
religion.
Hold on, bro.
It's
All right, let's
You
all
always
talked
relax,
enough, dude. You
guys.
talked enough,
Everyone
dude.
relax.
Yo, you talked enough.
Everyone
You talked
relax.
enough, bro.
Dude, you don't get to
So
say
hold
what I
on,
have to
dude.
Be
say.
Shut up,
concise,
bro.
please.
Shut up.
Come on.
Hold on yourself, dude. I
Shut
wasn't
up. You
finished.
talked for 5 minutes,
No,
dude.
you should, dude. Be a better religious person and stop saying that I should shut up.
Oh man, I'll say it.
Well,
You
the
should
thing
shut
is,
up.
Are you not
the thing
religious
is, the
enough
thing
to have
is, all,
disciplined yourself away from such foul speech?
all concepts are
Yo,
Guys,
abstract.
please.
Yo.
Hold on, man. Can we let Zynac wrap it up? Give him 10
All
seconds,
right,
Lion, please,
sure.
and then you're next.
That's fine. I respect that.
It's
Go
gonna
ahead.
be short.
Zynac,
It's just gonna be 10 seconds.
wrap it up, B. Wrap it up.
Huh?
Zynac,
Point already came across.
wrap your shit up.
8,
Whatever you were saying,
9,
conclude it, please,
10.
at some
Very
point.
good.
It is already concluded. Actually,
Perfect.
it doesn't need a conclusion because it's not a theory that's like under development.
No post
Only
reflections.
theories need conclusions.
No post reflections.
So all
Is that
all
your conclusion? Go ahead, Lion.
all ideas are conceptual, right?
Oh,
When we
man.
talk about ideas, they're conceptual, but not all concepts are grounded. You understand
Oh,
that,
man.
Siak? You understand that?
Oof. It's like you should pretend to not have understood what I've been saying this whole time, but it could be that actually is so. And then you have somehow come to the realization yourself, and now you don't even remember what I've been saying this whole time. I'm going to grant
I'm
you that
asking you a direct
possibility.
question, bro. Do you understand that all concepts are abstract, right?
Dude,
But they're not
that's
all
what I've
grounded.
been saying this whole time.
So why?
If you're
Okay,
gonna
so
have,
why are you acting
dude,
like just because it's a? All right.
If we if we removed the sound of lion speaking the words that you're speaking, or we just transcribed key words of what you have developed into the last, let's say, 2-3 months, and we're going to extract them and see who you'd most closely align to now as you're developing, you're going to sound more and more like, guess who? Me.
No, dude.
You know why
Is
that
that
is?
the topic?
This guy
Lion
really
sounds
has
like
a
This
me.
problem.
guy's
Yo, hold
ego
on.
is amazing.
Yo, this guy is insane.
I'm
Dude.
having
Just hold
so
on,
much
man. What?
laughing with this dude. Jesus.
I know. What's the topic, guys? Come on. Like
Yo, but he's
this
literally
can't be the
delusional.
topic. Is Lion?
The topic is that Cynic is full of himself.
No.
Let's just get on something real.
Topic is that
Let's
when
head
you
home,
actually
man.
have a genius around,
The
people
topic
will
is that
collect
Lion
to
stole Xenax
replace that
genius
person. They
and is
will steal what they have done. They will pretend that they are that person with genius, and they will definitely try and get rid of and remove and discredit the original creator as soon as possible. Because then they can waltz around pretending
did you read
that
some
they
Prince of
have
Machiavelli
some kind of
recently or
like
something? You
Yo,
okay? Did
it's
you get
weird
dropped on your
because
head?
he thinks like everybody forgot that we've been talking about groundative logic for over a year. You know, the Hebrew crew,
groundative
whatever we
logic.
are, right? We've been talking about presup and
Exactly.
tag and the groundative logic, and then this
Okay,
guy
so you
comes
have
out of nowhere. He's like,
that's
"Oh,
my
I'm the
favorite
one.
Hebrew.
I'm the
being on
one
my
that came
server.
up with this." I'll give
No, you're
credit
not.
to where I learned this from. I'll give credit
you're not.
to Greg Bonson, to Darth Dawkins, to Jim Bob, to Jay Dyer. These are the guys that are my YouTube algorithm.
Now,
That's who I listen to, bro. I didn't get it from you,
now you're
dude.
reverse.
You obviously
now
got
you're
it from us because I remember you
engineering.
I remember you always challenging our positions, and now he's trying to take credit for it. It's funny, dude. Real funny.
Not at all. So
Yeah,
you are still having your
what you don't get is
presupposition.
Darth Dawkins actually got it from Xenax.
So what he doesn't understand
Hold on. I
is
could
that
care
he's
less.
still
Hold on, Siak. Hold on, Siak.
okay.
I could care less
I'll
who
wait
got their
5
steeds
minutes.
from who or who bit off of who. Siak, go on mute for a second. That's not a
Sure.
topic. Like, this ain't a topic. Like, who got their steeds from who, what guy. Like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Can we just go get on something real?
He's got a chip on his shoulder for some reason. He came in here like, "Oh, I came up with this." It's like, dude, all right, me
Like,
and
that's
Snax are trying to go back and forth.
Can I have a final say so we can move on without him making
No,
false
please no.
accounts? Okay, well then
No.
his false witnessing.
No.
Okay, so he's false witnessing and you
No,
won't
I don't
allow
want it.
correction. Okay, of course you don't. You don't want it. Wow.
No means no.
Oh wow. I don't want it. Mommy.
Anyways,
Are you trying to force the dumpster fire on us?
That's
this goes back
Cynic in
to
a
like,
nutshell.
okay, so let me.
That is him in a
Remember the other day,
nutshell. Why are
Jeremy?
you
Remember the other
upset?
day? Hold on, dude. Jeremy. Remember the other day I brought up fractions versus decimals, and I mentioned why fractions are superior to decimals.
Yeah,
Remember
that
why
shit was retarded. I'd rather hear Siak tell us how he invented your whole steez.
But do you know why that is, though? Why I say that?
No, it's fucking dumb as fuck. That might be the dumbest thing I heard in here, like, this year at least.
No, this is why it's actually pretty profound once you understand the difference between first and second order measurements and why fractions are ontologically grounded and decimals are not. Once you understand why that's the case, it'll open up a whole new door in your mind, dude. And you'll never look at numbers the same way again. But I don't think you've hit that point yet. So I'm trying to explain it to you. So
yeah, and that's the point you've hit with understanding ground.
Let's say I had
your mind, and now you're here, a prophet.
Wait, so why is
Calm
expressing
down with
like
the butt hurt. Snax. Calm down the butt hurt, dude.
Why is expressing like 1.5 inches as a fraction instead of 1.5 inches superior?
Hold on, dude. I'm trying to explain it to you with a pizza pie, right? So let's say I have a pizza pie. I cut it right down the middle. I make a T, right? We have 4
Can we just
slices.
call it a pizza or a pie? Can we just do one or the other?
Pizza pie. Okay. I got a pizza. I cut it right down the middle, right? Twice. I got 4 pieces. Now, those 4 pieces are
Hold
right.
on, whoa, bro. Hold on. What cuts are you doing? What did you do?
It's like if
We
you had
got
a tortilla,
we got 4 square
Is it an Italian
slices.
pizza? Or
Not even
pizza?
Fucking pizza in the
doing
square.
He's doing groundative logic, like you said.
Yo, hold on,
logic.
dude. Let me just.
I wonder
This
where
is Massachusetts
groundative
pizza.
logic
This is how they do pizza in Massachusetts.
It's just for this. It's just for the sake of the argument.
You
dude.
got a square pizza and you cut
I'm trying to make
in
it as
half
simple as
twice down the
possible
middle.
so that a child could understand this. All right.
Yeah, dumb it down for us.
So we have the law of correspondence,
Snacks need you to
right?
dumb it down.
This is how you can ground numbers to your local reality, right? It's all about grounding these concepts. Even though concepts exist in the mind, numbers exist in the mind, fractions
Right. Give me
exist in the
your pizza
mind.
math. Come on, give me the pizza math.
Even though they're abstract, they can be brought to your local reality and grounded in your local reality. Who would have thought, right? Numbers correspond to your local reality. You have 10 apples in front of you, right? In this case, we have 4 pieces of pizza, right? 3 of them you give out to your family. You got 1 left behind, right? So you have 3 out of 4 pizzas you give away, slices of pizza. That's a fraction, 3/4, 4th being the denominator. That number 4, you have corresponding pieces that exist in your local reality, dude. Now, if you bring it down to a percentage, like you know, you have base 10 in America, you have 100%, right? 100% of the pizza, and you start to break it down. Where's this 100 at?
It's in pennies. You got $1, you got 100 pennies. If you have 1% of the dollar, you have 1 penny. It completely is the same exact thing as fractions.
No. It's mathematically equivalent, but it's not ontologically grounded. Where's the 100 in reality?
The 100%?
That's the difference, right? So
it means you have the whole thing. It means you have the whole thing. 100%.
Fractions maintain the exact proportional relationship between the top and the numerator and the denominator, right? So you have exact corresponding relationships.
So you admit that I've proved infinity, right?
You know about the state of affairs and like the law of correspondence. So you have actual numbers that correspond to your local reality. Once you start going into decimals and percentages and the infinite degree, you're no longer dealing with ontological grounding. You're dealing completely in abstract concepts.
This was all very confusing.
Yeah, it's why Sinai has been so misunderstood for the last 2 years.
Zynak taught him everything he knows. Zynak taught him everything he knows, and he doesn't know nothing.
Lion knows something. Hopefully, he knows that he has a dick. But
but Jeremy, you understand what I'm saying? Hold on, I'm talking about Jeremy. You understand what I'm saying, though? You understand the direct relationship between the 3/4 fraction and the pizza in front of you?
Yeah,
the direct relationship between the quantities, the numerator and the denominator.
That I cut into 3,000.
I mean, it could be slightly more linked unless we had pennies. Because what if we had $100 worth of pennies? And I said, all right, it does fit reality slightly better, but they're still the same exact thing. So there's no difference.
No, there is even though they're mathematically equivalent, right? They're not ontologically equivalent. And when we talk about ontology, that's reality, bro. Ontology deals with reality and study of being and entity. So when we talk about the law of identity, right? You're talking about the identity of a slice of pizza. You have 4 slices in front of you.
Let me address this directly, please.
Actually in front of you. Not this 100 denominator, this percentage that you're talking about is completely conceptual. You don't actually have 100 in front of you.
What shape is a piece of pizza?
So wait.
Please allow me to ask this question. What shape is a piece of pizza for you?
In America, it's a circle, dude. It's a disc.
No, a piece of pizza. Not
a whole pizza.
It depends how you cut it. I mean, a triangle or square.
No,
What
no,
do
a
you mean a
pizza,
triangle?
Freemason pizza.
No, a triangle is not what you would get from a pizza. That's a
Yeah,
circle.
that's a boy
What
love
would be the
symbol,
shape
not
of a piece of
triangle.
pizza?
Maybe a heart.
Nice.
Is it a Freemason pizza or which pizza is it?
From what he said, a
Triangle?
circular.
It's a
We have a
slice.
circular pie. We have a slice of pizza that's cut from lines, like a regular
Dude, this is
standard fucking piece
disgusting.
of pizza. What shape is that? Because if it's made from a curve on the outside, then it can't be a triangle.
Oh man,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
The crust is
disgusting.
waste, right? We have to take that off. We have to shear down the data to be able to really say much. But then you're not dealing with a circle, you're dealing with an n-sided object for as many sides as you want to slice. If you have an 8-sided pizza, you have an n-sided 8, the n-word, whatever the number of the things that you're doing.
It's okay. Let Lion just continue.
So would we like to get to
Done,
this?
dude.
Like,
I mean-
I would love to get to this point where you start talking about physical reality and not like some kind of metaphor that doesn't.
Yeah, let's get into
work.
Pizzagate.
He already is talking about physical reality, but you're making smug wordplay to attempt to associate the possibility of physical reality.
What I don't
dude,
what I
Physical
don't get
reality
is like
for you,
how this
your
would work with
non-existing dick. Snax.
bigger. I don't get how bigger numbers. Like if you sliced a pizza into 3,000 slices and you have 2 pizza slices left, would you say you have 2 over 3,000? The fraction would be 2 over 3,000, or would you reduce that down, disconnect it from reality, and reduce it down to 1 over 2,500 or like 1,500? Like I don't get how this works with bigger numbers.
So now this is why I try to make it dumb simple. That's why I use 4 slices. Now you want to start using 3,000, 4,000 slices. Like you have a point, dude. The whole point of this argument, right?
Well,
Don't get lost in the math, right? The whole point of this argument is to try to show you that fractions are grounded in reality. The denominator corresponds to your actual reality. You actually have 4 slices of pizza. You understand? Versus an abstract number like 100, where you can, even though it's mathematically equivalent, right? That abstract number 100 doesn't actually exist in your local reality. It only exists in the mind.
Pizza?
Okay, how about this?
What if I'm
Ryan?
not
Hold
dealing
on.
with a pizza and I
Hold
have
on, man.
3,000?
How about this real quick? Let's say we do this. Let's say I give everyone their slice of pizza. There's 4 slices. I got 1 left. There's a little homeless kid on the side of the street. He's so hungry. I'm starving too. I cut my shit in half and give him half the slice. What's your fucking fraction?
What do you mean? You said it yourself. You cut.
What's your fraction? Because I got a
took,
percentage that's going to match that. Well, let me know what your fraction is that matches that.
Well, I don't. Well, you took 1 pizza and you cut it in half.
Yeah, I cut it in 2 halves and I made a pizza into a 4 cut. I gave 3 slices away. I had a 4th. That's good. So far, you're good. Until I cut half of that. Until I cut that slice in half and gave it to the little kid. Now, what's your fraction out of the whole pizza?
I don't know, dude.
How much pizza do I now have?
You got
out of your whole pizza.
Yeah, you got 3.5, dude. But
I don't have 3.5.
I'm saying if you took one of the pizzas and you cut it in half,
everything
if you had
by
4,
2.
you got 3.5.
No, I don't have 3.5 slices. How many slices do you have out of the pizza?
You're gonna try to get. I know, but this is still pointless. You're trying to.
This is me.
You're gonna try to get me to use a percentage or a decimal.
I'm just saying, give me the fraction. I cut a pizza into a 4 cut. I gave 3 slices away. I have a quarter of the pizza left. A homeless, starving kid. I cut my slice in half and give it to him. Now, out of the whole pizza, how much do I now have?
I'm not even tracking what you're saying right now, dude.
There's a pizza. There's a pizza on a table.
No, I get it, but I'm not writing all this down, dude. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not writing it all down, dude.
You can't.
Well, let me know when you got a pen and a piece of paper.
You said you had a quarter of a pizza. You cut it in half. You did this. You did that, bro. Like, I'm not following what you're saying, dude.
Did you get the pizza from Comet Ping Pong?
You said you had a quarter of a pizza, right? And then you gave
one slice away,
or you gave half a slice away.
7/8 is the answer.
It's like one of those math problems. I gotta write it down, dude.
It's
and
a
think
time
about
signature too.
You have an eighth of the pizza now. How does the eighth relate? How does the
now
eighth?
You have an eighth of a pizza.
Yeah, you had a quarter of it, and then you cut that in half, and gave that half to the homeless kid. So now you have a quarter of the not a quarter. You have You have 12.5% of the pizza.
Just write it down and send it to me, dude. Please.
Okay. I'll write it down. This is your example, dude.
And I'll figure it out.
This is your example. Except now we cut the slice in half and gave it to a homeless kid. Same example you gave, except we cut your slice in half.
You're missing the point, dude. It's not about like figuring out fractions, dude, and multiplying fractions and dividing fractions. The whole point is that fractions correspond to your local reality, dude. That's it. You want us now? You dividing and multiplying fractions? Like, what's going on, dude?
So I can mathematically prove infinity now.
I think the point is that fractions are not any more like grounded in reality than decimal places. They both represent the same thing.
No, they don't, dude. Go look this up, dude. Science of philosophy, first and second order measurements. There's a difference between first and second order measurements. First order measurements are grounded, second order measurements are not. Even though they're both abstract, fractions are superior ontologically than percentages, dude. It's a fact. Go look it up.
Okay.
Even if percentages are easier to deal with in the mind. To reference
Jake,
60% versus 70%.
Infinite number. Does that exist, Jake?
Like 3/5 versus 7/10 isn't as obvious as 60% versus 70%. So percentages are easier in that way, but it doesn't make them superior ontologically because they're not.
Is it where you prove your point where nobody wants to talk to you anymore?
Nah, if nobody wants to talk to me anymore, then case is closed.
Bro, I bodied you, dude. I don't know if you know what happened just now. You got wrecked, bro, with your own example. When you take your one slice you had left and you cut it in half and give that to a homeless kid, how much pizza do you had a quarter that matched reality, but now what do you have left? Now that you have half of your slice.
So I only have one slice left. I gave all my pizza away. I had one slice left, right?
You had one slice of the pizza. You had 1/4 of the pizza.
Forget about the rest of the pizza. I have one slice and I cut it in half.
We're not forgetting about the rest of the pizza. We're not
because you gave it away. You don't have it anymore. It's gone. It's gone.
It's not gone, bro. It happens at the same time. It happens right at the same time. You just hand them theirs and you see the homeless kid.
Go ahead. Try it again, dude. I'll try to listen this time. Go ahead.
Everyone pitched in for a pizza. They all want 1/4 of the pizza because they pitched in 1/4 of the money. You see this little homeless kid, you're a nice Christian. Right when you chop the pizza up, you're like, let me give him half mine too. So you give them their plates, give the homeless kid his half of your slice, and now you have a half of your quarter. What's your fraction
You're losing
for
me,
this?
Dude. You're losing me, bro.
What do you mean, bro?
You're losing me. You're saying too much shit, dude. Just keep it simple, dude, or send it to me in DM, dude.
Okay, here's as simple as you can get. It's your scenario. You have four slices of pizza. You give 3 of them away, and you give half of yours to a homeless kid. How much pizza do you have left?
Half a slice.
Nope, you don't have half a slice. You had, out of the whole pizza. No, out of the whole pizza.
Half a slice.
No, out of the whole pizza, how much do you have?
I told you half a slice.
What's the fraction? Dude? What's the fraction? You have 1/2 of the pizza. How much pizza do you now have in a fraction number?
Half of 4.
No, so out of the whole pizza.
What?
You have half of 4? That's your fraction?
No, half of 1/4.
Write this down. What is the fraction?
Dude, Jeremy, you made your point.
Half of 1/4, bro. I already told you, and you're like, you don't want to accept it. No, of the pizza, half. Dude, I'm telling you, half of one slice, half of 1/4 of the pizza, and you keep going. No, that's not it, dude. What do you want, a decimal,
dude?
That's
not a You're giving me 2 fractions now.
Yeah, what's half of a fourth? You know how to
half of 1/4, dude.
Yeah, you don't know
Yeah, but what's the fraction though? I have a number that
I'm not even doing that. This is just from my brain, bro. I'm not doing anything, bro. I'm just trying to talk to you, bro. I'm saying half of 1/4, dude.
Yeah, but that's two numbers now. You said you had a fraction. Your fractions match the reality better than
my. So you just don't like the. Yeah, you don't. You just don't like fractions.
But you don't have a fraction. Hold on, dude. You don't have a fraction that replaces my number. You got a mathematical formula or an equation or something. You don't have an actual fraction though to replace the number of amount of pizza you have.
No, you can.
You could
use
say
halves,
it in a fraction form, but you won't. The number you're saying is 1/8, and that doesn't represent as reality as good anymore, does it? Does it, Lion?
What do you mean?
You have 1/8 of the pizza.
No, I know, but what do you mean
That's
that doesn't respond to
it
does it does respond to your local reality. What do you mean?
That's your fraction of how much pizza you have now is 1/8.
You can divvy up that pizza, dude. What are you talking about?
The number you were scared to give me is 1/8. That's the fraction you have of pizza. 1 out of 8.
No, because you have 4 slices, dude. Unless you want to.
Yes, and you have half of 1 of the 4ths, which is an 1/8.
Yeah, so but you can reduce it, right? You can simplify by reducing it, but you acting like my answer was wrong.
You can't reduce an 1/8 anymore.
So you reduce. I know you can't. You reduce it to the You reduce the fraction down to 1/8.
Now, how does this? Okay, you have 1/8 of the pizza. Now that we understand how much pizza you have, it wasn't that complicated. I don't know why you didn't say that 5 minutes ago. This is a very simple thing.
You're mad because I didn't reduce it to 1/8
of the pizza. Well, I'm mad because you're playing games because you're not just saying what that fraction is, even though it was an 1/8 and you were trying to give me formulas and shit. But it's an 1/8. And how does 8 now relate to your reality? Because there was 4 slices, and then you chopped 1 in half, so you had 3 plus 2. You had 5. You never actually had 8 slices.
If I had 4 slices, I gave 3 away. I had 1 left, and I split that one slice of pizza and then gave it away. I'd have half of 1/4, and you like no, that's not it.
That's your fraction.
Which is an 1/8. Which is an 1/8 if you reduce it. Yes.
Okay, and where there was never, how does 8? You said this all linked to reality because your numerator matched. Back when you had 4 slices, it worked, but now there's no number that's 8 anymore because there was 4 slices, and then you cut 1 in half, so then you had 3, then you had 5. You never actually had 8 slices anywhere out of this whole thing to have an 1/8 of the pizza.
Dude, you still have that. You could still have that portion, right? It's about state of affairs. So you have the actual pizza in front of you that you can divvy up into 1/8 if you wanted to. You can cut it up.
We can. Bro, your shit just fell apart. Your numerator doesn't match. The 8 doesn't match anymore. You don't have 8. Like I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
If it didn't match up, then you couldn't. Yeah, then you couldn't actually make it possible. You couldn't actually divide it up like that. You couldn't give away an 1/8. If it didn't match up, you wouldn't be able to give away an 1/8 of pizza, dude. But you can give away an 1/8 of pizza, so it's not a problem. You're making this more difficult than it needs to be, dude. I'm trying to show you why fractions are superior, and you're trying to break logic or something.
Dude, I just showed you it's not superior because now you have an 1/8 and it doesn't match any of your numerators don't match anymore like they did so nicely when you had a 1/4.
Yeah, because you divided it again, dude. Of course.
Because I had to show you where you were wrong, of course.
It's not about being wrong, dude. It's about corresponding your slices. I mean, your numbers to reality to your slices, dude. That's the difference, bro. That's all I'm trying to show you.
Bro, you're not showing me anything. I showed you that your shit just works just as good as the decimals. Like, I don't know how you didn't learn that yet.
No, it doesn't, dude. Fractions describe a relationship that exists in reality between quantities, state of affairs, bro.
You have an 1/8 of the pizza. I have 12.5%. Your numerator doesn't match as good as you thought it did because there was never at any point was there 8 slices. I mean, get wrecked, bro.
Dude, okay, bro. Go look it up. It's like saying that. It's like saying it's like dude. It's no different than you're being a Glober right now because it's no different when the Globers say that an average is a measurement. You're doing the same thing.
No,
or the theodolite observations or theodolite observations or measurements, dude. When there's a second order. You're doing the same thing. You don't even realize
you've massively strawmanned me all day, Lion, and I can prove infinity to you mathematically.
But Jeremy, it is second order.
No, you don't even know what you're talking about. So I shouldn't take offense.
So when it comes to like measurements, right? First and second order measurements correspond to your local reality. You can ontologically ground them by physically, right, measuring them with your hands, like physically measuring it. So with a pizza, I have the physical slices in front of me. I can physically give out those slices.
You can't even do that shit, guy.
Based off of no, I can. He's just trying to overcomplicate it in obscurities.
You can't even get 7/8 fucking right, guy. I don't want to yell. I don't want to yell.
Yeah, bro, I'm not here to multiply fractions and divide fractions. I'm not a mathematician. This all goes back to first order measurements. What makes something grounded? That's it. He's trying to complicate things by having us all fucking divide fractions, dude. That's not what I came here to do, dude.
If it's superior and it manifests reality better, which is what was that not your original?
Oh, he caught me because I didn't reduce the fraction.
Okay.
Oh, no.
So
I got you. Oh, I didn't reduce it.
It's not because you didn't reduce the fraction, retarded, bro. Dude. I got you.
It is. I got you. Got me.
Because the 8. Hold on, dude. Hold on. I got where I got you was that was the sneaky thing you were trying to do. Maybe you didn't understand. Maybe it was sneaky. I'll give it to you. All right. You're on the fly. You're working fine. Maybe you didn't catch it. The part where I got you was when you said the numerator links directly to reality because you had 1 out of 1 of a whole pizza, and then you had 1/4. Then you cut it into 4s. Now you had 4 out of 4, and I had a 4th, and they had 3/4. I got you where I made you give a half of your slice to a little homeless kid. That's where I got you because there was no. Now you have an 1/8 of the pizza left, and there was no 8. Your numerator doesn't match to anything anymore. There was never 8 slices at any point in this.
No, because you could still divide the pizza up into 8 slices. It's still within the realm of possibility.
It was no.
No, it's still it's still there, dude. It's still there.
It's not still there. It was never there. You're just saying it's there, but there was never 8 slices. Your shit doesn't match like you thought it did. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
I told you, yeah, you weren't happy with the half of 1/4. You got mad because I didn't reduce it. And then when you reduced it, I got you.
I got mad because I felt like you were being sneaky, trying not to answer.
It's a valid answer. It's a valid answer.
I feel like that's when you knew. I got you when you were like, "Oh shit, there wasn't 8 slices. I don't want to tell him an 1/8." You know what I'm saying? That's why I was getting angry.
But it's still a valid answer, dude. Half of 1/4. Half of 1/4. It's still an answer, bro, and it's valid.
Yeah, but the fraction is 1/8. The 1/8
it doesn't have to be 1/8. If you want to simplify and reduce it, you can reduce it to 1/8. It's still valid. You're acting like half of 1/4 isn't valid. Stop, dude.
It's an 1/8. It's not valid. That's not a fraction. Half of 1/4 is not a fraction. That's a math problem. It's not a fraction though. It's a formula with fractions in it. It's not a fraction, dude. That's why I felt you were being sneaky, and I feel like you might still have been being sneaky. It's trying to do it.
The numerator would be 1, the dash, the 2, and then the 1/4.
Bro, that's not how fractions. That's
1 over 4,
dude. A fraction has a number on top. Bro, a fraction has a number on top and a number on the bottom, dude. You're giving me way too many numbers for this to be a fraction. That's how I know it's not a fraction. That's why I feel like you're still being sneaky. Because you don't want to say the 1/8 because you know it doesn't link to reality as good as your 1/4 did.
Either way, this is not the point. I'm not here to divide fractions and argue about reducing fractions to the most common denominator. That's not why I came here to do it. I simply used a most crude example. I use pizza slices to demonstrate why fractions can correspond to your local reality and decimals can't. And you're just trying to break it.
I'm about to make you a math test so you can prove this.
No, that's right. I did.
I gotta see.
Go ahead.
It's about keeping the structure, keeping the numbers connected to your reality, dude. That's why I brought this up, bro.
You goofball.
The structure of the relationship visible.
Yeah, eighth of a slice, eighth of a pizza is a lot more for our minds. The way we perceive reality is a lot more rational than 12.5%, right? Like, or 0.125.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 0.125 of a pizza. It's like, well, how much is that, right? But if you just say, oh, it's an eighth, it's like if you just ran the thing through 4 times, it's eighth of a pizza.
Actually, yeah. What is eighth of a pizza in percentages? What is it? 12.
12.5%.
What is it? 12.5%, dude. What the hell is that?
It's an actual number, unlike the one you were scared to give me earlier because you wouldn't say an eighth. I gave you
dude,
the
it's
actual
not
number.
about, you
I gave you the 12.
Dude. You still don't get it, dude.
Bro, that was bad, bro. That wasn't a good look right there for you. I'm just saying.
You're missing the point, bro. It's like you're completely overlooking the moral of the story, dude. You're stuck on numbers, bro. I'm trying to explain to you, like, the law of correspondence and, like, why things have to correspond to local reality for them to be ontologically grounded. So, yes, maybe you can have an example to where fractions will devolve into no longer being ontologically grounded. Okay, dude, but that you're missing the point. You understand the point? You know why I brought this up?
Yo, you know what's cool?
It's
like, it's like, you talk that mess about the religion and stuff, but you can back it up, and you can talk mess about whatever you know about, and that's good. If you're trying to talk mess about fractions, be able to back it up, get dope at this shit, you know what I mean, and come back, because you know what I mean. Like, all your shit should be fucking looking tight. And this, for me, I'm just like, I don't want to be negative, but keep working at it, man.
No,
I feel embarrassed for you, Lion. You just got wrecked.
You're gaslighting, bro.
It's going to get better, but don't worry.
No, because when you have an exact relationship, right? The numbers with an exact relationship in your reality, right? You have proportions between quantities that have exact correspondence. That's an ontological grounding right there. When you're talking about infinite numbers and billions and to the billion, where's this 1 billionth degree at? Where's that at? Show me where that is.
I can, but you need to learn shit first.
It's like when you use lasers or optics, right, when it comes to second order measurements, how confident are you that when you shoot a laser to the moon, right, and it bounces back, and based off of the delay, you make a calculation. Now they call that a measurement because they presuppose how long it took that laser to actually reach the moon and back, and how far it actually traveled based off of the time it took to get there.
Where's the fractions?
That's a second order measurement. Why? Because it hasn't been grounded, physically grounded to your local reality.
Man, oh man.
So it's like if I measure, let me use a room. I use a room example all the time.
Snail shell's wrong. You tell me sunflowers is wrong. All right.
No, I'm saying calculations, right? Because you're talking about mathematical calculations, mathematical concepts, right? So I can have a mathematical calculation, right? Based off of the laser's propagation to the moon and back. And based off of that calculation, I can then conclude, well, the moon is this far away. That's not a first order measurement. That's a second order measurement because you haven't actually grounded it physically. You actually haven't walked your ass to the moon or flown your ass to the moon.
It was hallucinating.
And measured it physically. That's the difference. So when we're talking about numbers, these numbers have to actually correspond to your local reality physically, tangible, not infinitely in conceptual models that devolve into nonsense.
Very good. Very good. All right, I think we should move on.
I mean, bro, I broke your whole shit apart when I took it to the 1/8. So, like, your whole basis for this was that it matches reality because there's 4 slices. You have one of them. You have 1/4 of the pizza. That shit sounded dope. I'm not gonna lie. When you first said it, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." It does match reality a little bit. I was actually on your side at first. until I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, wait, what happens when you give half of the slice away and now you have an eighth and there was never even 8 slices? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you just try. It's like people they try to break the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, bro. You think you've got something on your hands, but you really don't, dude. You can't break the logic. You can't break
I
ontology.
mean, do you have a
Dude.
rebuttal for what I said though, or because that's what happened? The thing I said
Yeah,
actually happened.
yeah, you actually have the slices in front of you, bro. It doesn't matter if you want to slice it up and redo
You
the
don't.
denominator. If you want to
You
redo the
never had
denominator,
8
that's fine.
slices. You never had 8 slices. Bro, you never had 8 slices. It doesn't match reality. There was never 8 slices.
It doesn't matter. It's just a portion of
The
a
reason for
circle.
why you said it matched.
It's just a portion of a circle. Doesn't matter if you never had them all. It's still it's a portion of a circle.
I know, but he said it was his thing was better because it matched reality better, and then he used these 4 slices. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're trying to. Yeah, I came up with a simple example, and you try breaking it. It's fine, dude.
No, I did though, because like he never had 8 slices. I realized like they could be there or they're there, but like your example was that there was 4 slices and you had 4 slices, so it matched reality better.
Yeah, but you gotta walk it out because or work it out because I said half of 1/4 and then you reduced it. Before you get to 1/8, you had to reduce it.
Yeah, because
to make it
half
easier,
of 1/4
to
isn't a
make it
fraction.
easier.
That's a half of 1/4 isn't a number. That's a math problem. 1/8 is the number you're looking for.
No, because you actually had one slice, bro. You actually had one slice that you divided in half. That's actually what happened. So you have contingency there. You have contingency. Yeah, you have an action that you did. So if you track it and don't ignore all of that to make your point, right? Before you had that 1/8, before you reduced it, what'd you have? You had to cut your pizza. You had to cut that one slice in half, dude. So you had 4 slices. You gave 3 away. You had 1 left. You said you cut it in half. What's wrong with that?
Now
dude?
you have 1/8 of the, and now you have 1/8 of the pizza.
Yeah, after you reduce it.
That's just how much of the pizza you have. 1/8. Not like that's it. Like yeah, after you figure out how much of the pizza you have 1/8.
But you said it yourself. You never had 8, right?
Which is why it
reduced
debunks you
it.
because your example was that it matches the numerator matches better.
No, I said
and
the
it doesn't now
denominator.
because
It doesn't
there was
even
never
matter,
8
bro,
slices.
because in order to make your point, you have to ignore the history of how you got to 1/8. There's a contextual ontological history to how you got to that 1/8, and you want to ignore it. And you're like, oh, it doesn't match reality. No, yours doesn't match reality.
Bro, your whole example was your fractions match reality better, and you gave the example of using 1 out of 1, 1 out of 4, and you had 4 slices, and yeah, it matched better. That does match better than 25%. I'll give it to you. It sounds like it matches better. However, that falls apart when you do the thing I said, and you break it down to where you now have 1/8. But there was never 8 slices.
Within reason, Jeremy, you can't abandon reason and think that you have a point, bro. Like fraction describe relationships.
I'm not abandoning reason, bro. There's nothing unreasonable about cutting your slice in half. That's not unreasonable.
No, yeah, but you had to deny that. You had to deny that you actually cut one slice in half, right? To then reduce it to 1/8.
That's what happened. I'm not denying it. That's what happened. You cut one slice in half.
Yeah, one
now,
slice out of
the whole
4.
Pizza
Yeah,
do you
one
have
slice
left?
out of 4 slices. One slice out of 4 slices, you divide it in half. So that's half of 1/4.
The whole pizza do you have?
That's half of 1/4 that then you continue to reduce to 1/8. Except you don't actually have 8 pieces of pizza. You don't actually have that in reality.
You know, that's why your shit doesn't. That's why it completely goes against what you said earlier about it matches reality better.
Yeah, but
you never had 8
slices. Only if you assert, right, that half of 1/4 isn't a valid fraction when you know it is. It's just not simplified.
Well, no, unless you set like the denominator, I mean, you have to reference that back. If you just had you would have to measure the crust, I guess, against pi to know what size of the pizza fraction you had, based on the length of it, I guess, right? To try to get your circle back, and then you can figure out like if someone just handed you a skinny ass pizza pie, you'd be like, oh, well, this got to be this kind of number, right? Anyway, so whatever.
Even pi isn't ontologically grounded, dude. It's a I don't even know if it's considered a ratio.
No, I don't I don't mean about 3.14. I mean like your pizza pie, which is coincidentally like where I thought you were going to actually go with this later down the road. But we're just trying to figure out like how you actually use these fractions to get back from I have a skinny piece of pizza based on this, like how can I extract like what percentage of or what the total number of slices of that pie might have been. Right?
Well, yeah, this goes back to like what you actually have.
You should be able to figure out, right?
Yeah, but if you're going to invoke like pi and how much pizza you actually have, right?
You invoked pizza. Okay, I'm not.
No, I'm saying like 3.14, right? And actually figure out how much pizza you actually have when you divide it up. Do you really have 4 equal slices, right? In reality, most people say no because it's impossible to get to the to the micron scale an equal division of 4 slices of pizza. There's some this one might have a little bit more cheese hanging off the side, a little bit more grease, whatever the case may be.
No, I mean, or we take it for granted that we base it on quadrants. What if somebody cuts 5 slices as a beginner and then he cuts each individual slice out that way, right? I don't know. Like, there's multiple ways to arrive at like how we divide a pizza. Anyway, it's I'm having cheese meltdown with this whole conversation. I think
you certainly do, because this is just like fucking wobbling.
I'm the designated peanut gallery here. Okay.
Well, I must say I almost laughed my ass off earlier when Lion said groundative logic and tried to say that Bonson is the arbiter of groundative logic, when in fact groundative is specifically to deal with the likes of bonds. It's a system that actually destroys Bonson. There's nothing to do with Bonson other than fucking putting him in a grave, dude.
All right, dude. All good.
He's coming at you like a Bond villain over here. What you got to say?
I don't feel like arguing with Zanuck.
He can't argue with me.
There we go.
He can't argue with me because actually deep down.
Well, don't antagonize if you just said you didn't want it, right?
Hear this next. Deep down, Lion does actually like me, and he does realize that I do actually owe a lot to this guy, although I never give him any friendliness.
Siak, do you know who Cornelius Van Til is?
Yes, of course.
So that's
Van Til and Bonson. Yeah, Van Til and Bonson and the other apologetics or precepts, they have nothing to do with groundative other than them being. Well, they do have a lot to do with it in the sense that I'm very against Bonson and Van Til. So yeah, groundative could sort of be built somewhat also in content to people who want to occult our lived experience. Yes. Groundative is an attempt to restore common sense and the ground, back into people's senses, so that they can have contact with the world around them yet again, instead of drifting off into abstractions, which Van Til and Bonson unfortunately do, although they claim they don't with their system. That's the divergence. It's not that it comes from the same system even, although sure, we can talk logic, right? I agree groundative is logical. So if precepts say that their system is logical, sure, yeah, I'm not going to disagree that there's logic in it. It's just misapplied philosophy. And that's what groundative fixes. It's a correcting mechanism for systems like precept, or system built upon precept, so that no argument and no claim and no belief, etc., gets planted without anyone's awareness into the system, so that it cannot be hijacked. It's like an antivirus for logical systems, and it's an antivirus for ungrounded
All
claims.
right, bro, just chill out, man. Just chill out.